lifestyle by providing tools, tips, and resources that elevate health from the inside out. Every episode, myself, along with a featured guest, share our steps to feel good daily journeys on my globally recognized show, Steps to Feel Good Daily with Lona. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Steps to Feel Good Daily with Lona. I am super excited today. We have an amazing guest Cindy, and I just had the most amazing conversation with her the other day, and I think that you guys are going to be really excited to learn how to have a tranquil heart for wellness. This is what she teaches. So I'm excited to share with you and introduce you in just a minute. But before we do that, we have our essential oil tip. And I chose rose oil because this is the oil of divine love. And I think having a tranquil heart really has to do with having divine love. And it is actually the highest vibration oil. It comes in a 5 ml bottle, and it also comes in a touch. So this one is to create empathy and healing and divine love in our lives. So now I am going to introduce our guest. And her name is Cindy Edington. And she is a heart-centered practitioner that helps women transform into their most empowered version of themselves. I love that. She has 30 plus years, oh my gosh, lots of experience of clinical research, preventative medicine, and health and wellness. Totally up my line. She is a certified transformational life coach, yoga therapist, and teacher, and a Reiki master and a tapping practitioner. Oh my gosh, she has so much to show us. So I am going to bring her up from the green room now so that you guys can meet her and we can learn a lot more from her. So meet Cindy. Where are you? There you are. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Lona.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I just heard you mentioning rose oil, so I love it too. Just pulled out my little sample here. Yeah,
Awesome.
oils are great. So
That's
I love rose oil
awesome.
myself. Yeah, I use it all the time.
I love that. Well, before we get started, I know you've probably heard me introducing a few things about you, but I kind of want to know like what caused you to fall into the whole wellness industry. I know that all of us healers, we all have a story to tell, because we usually become healers because there was maybe something that we went through. So would you mind sharing with us about yourself before we go into your tip?
Oh, sure, absolutely. First, thank you again for having me today. I really appreciate being here. I have a lot of gratitude just for being here. So thank you for that. Yeah, my story starts, as you know, it's usually some kind of heartbreaking event that happens. And that's exactly what happened to me too. This was obviously a few decades ago now at this point, but I went through a very heartbreaking divorce. I won't give you all the details, but it was not good. And basically, my ex husband and I split when our daughter was about 8 months old. And he literally shattered my heart into a million little pieces. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I had very little support. My parents lived in a complete other city. All I had was basically myself and friends that were there to help me. And that really opened me up in a really different kind of way because I was like, I could have chose to like kind of like fall apart, so to speak, and be the victim. But I thought, no, you know what? I cannot be this sobbing preacher, if you will, in the corner. I've got this little baby to take care of. And that kind of led me down a really positive path. I mean, it's usually when these heartbreaking things happen that we can make a very important choice for ourselves. And for me, it was I'm just going to focus in on what I can do to really nurture myself, heal myself, and hopefully with that, it will provide her with nurturing and healing as well. So that's really how it started. And to tag on to that even more, um, I didn't have a lot of money. My ex-husband left me with a big bag of debt as well. So that I was like, okay, what do I need to do here? So again, it was like, how am I going to keep myself healthy and manage all the bills, etc. There was just a lot packed into this. What I ended up doing was health and fitness. I'd say fitness always was a thing for me. It was like I like to be fit. And so I used to go to the gym and do workouts, whatever. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get certified to be a fitness teacher because this way, this is how I can like de-stress because everything was on me. All the household, my ex-husband quit his job even. So here I am. I got to carry all the bills now by myself. I've got a baby to take care of. I'm working a full-time job. I'm like stressed out, overwhelmed to the max. How am I going to do this? So I thought, okay, I'm in the gym. That's my stress release. I'm going to get certified as a fitness instructor so I can get a workout in, but I can get paid for it at the same time. So it all started really so that I could have extra income, but doing something that I felt really good about, and being able to share that then too with other people. So that was the beginning, right? And this is like 30 years, ago doing this.
Right.
And through that, though, I mean, I've done it all: cardio, kickboxing, athletic conditioning, you name it. I got certified in all these different classes because I loved it so much. And then yoga hit me right in the face.
Uh-huh.
And that, I got to tell you, the whole yoga journey just flipped the whole script for me. I really recognized, even in the first yoga class that I took, that I was missing even still so much more inside here. I was connecting
Right.
everything externally. And from that experience, it was like, oh my gosh, it really just connected to my heart in a completely different way. And it opened me up to see things in a really different light. And so I got certified then for being, in yoga. I went down a whole path for that. And that took a while to actually get all of what I needed in terms to be a registered yoga teacher. And that was great.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. I taught lots and lots of yoga classes. And then I got to the point where, I noticed that yoga was just turning into yet another kind of gym class. And again, I'm not slamming that because I did it. I taught in a gym too. But I noticed that there were a lot of people then that were being left out.
Right.
People that had injuries that couldn't really maybe do a group class, even if it was a beginner class, they needed something that was more specific and personal to them. And
Mm-hmm.
so I ended up going then into yoga therapy. And I'd say it's probably about a decade ago now, I became a certified yoga therapist. And so I've done a lot of work with people that have special conditions. So I've done a lot of work with women in particular that have been on the cancer journey. So I do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
work with women. I do work with men as well, but I really specialize in working with women. A lot of back injuries, people that have back problems, a lot of us, there's been a lot of us that have had back problems over the years, whatever. So
Hit by
very,
cars, ran over by trucks. Yes. I can relate.
exactly. The interesting thing, so again, I'm going to lead you through this whole journey here, is that I was actually doing a restorative yoga session with a cancer survivor.
Mm.
And I was just, restorative is its own form of yoga. There's so many forms out there. And she was in a posture, and I was just literally sitting and meditating and just sending out a vibe of love and light to her, because she was having to go in for that 5-year checkup the next day and really needed to de-stress. So I was just sending her all kinds of love. And we got done with the session, and she said to me, Cindy, were you standing over me and like sending me energy? And I sat back and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, no, I wasn't standing over you. I was like sitting across the room from her. But I said, but yes, I was. I was sending you energy. And it was like literally palpable that we could feel this, connection of energy between us. And all of a sudden, what came up for me was Reiki. Right. I started seeing, like, every time I would Google something, I would just start seeing like Reiki, 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 Reiki. And I'm like, So I'm like, okay, the universe is speaking to me right now, right? I'm like, okay, I'm getting it, you know? So from there, I actually took a journey then into Reiki and did, the 1 and 2 level, and then went into the advanced. And I really wanted to be then a teacher. I was like, I got to share this. All these good things that are happening energetically just
Right.
totally resonated with me. And I'm sure you understand that too, being a Reiki person. Um, and it led me then for my kind of like my master teacher training, if you will. There's a physician that lives in our town, and his name is Dr. Brian Daly. And I need to bring him up because he is just a phenomenal physician
Mhm.
who also is a Reiki master teacher. He actually is a part of the Monroe Institute. And if you haven't heard of them, they're, again, Google it, phenomenal organization. They do so much work in the energetic space. He has traveled all over teaching residents Reiki so that they can actually help their patients with coming out of, like, say, surgeries with, healing better and quicker just by simply doing Reiki on a patient before they go into a surgery, Reikiing themselves. And I reached out to him, and he immediately called me and said, please come into my practice. So he actually, he works now at one of our urgent care centers. He has a Reiki room set up in the urgent care.
Wow.
And during the COVID time, I would go in once a week volunteering, and he would teach me all kinds of different things, his techniques, and work on cancer patients. And that was the give back. Is like,
Wow.
people would come in and we would Reiki together. So I just wanted to mention him because I just think that he has been a
Mhm.
phenomenal source for me, and just a beautiful, beautiful energy.
Nice. That's really, I would call that a good energy moment. And it's like, there's so many different things that are out there and there's so much love. And I really appreciate you sharing that message. I do want to jump into the steps that you take to feel good daily.
Perfect. So I know I just babbled on, but I just thought it was important to see the journey. But yeah, so my steps really start with just before I even get out of bed, right? So there is a little Reiki prayer that I do every day, and I Reiki myself in bed. So before, I do anything, I'm
Right.
literally just taking my little Reiki moment and Reikiing myself and giving myself really good energy for the day. And then I stretch a little. I used to be the person, again, when I was working in corporate, pop right out of bed. I was like, oh my God, the alarm clock went off. My mind's racing, racing, racing. I got to go.
Right.
Once you do the energy work, for me, it was like, okay, I've got a system now that I can, like, literally prime myself for the day by just taking a few moments. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. I take that, and then I do a little stretch, and then I take in feelings of gratitude. So I start to think about, what am I really grateful for? And I just think of 3 things. And it doesn't have to be big. It can be, I love this. I'm so grateful for this cozy little blanket, right?
Exactly.
Um,
I do that every morning. I'm like,
yeah, it's like, oh,
I just feel that hug. Can I just hold that and feel that hug there for a minute? Thank you.
most mornings too, I just say thank you for letting me be here another day. So I take in
Yes.
gratitude. Just thank you. I'm here another day. Thank you for that. How can I contribute to the world? How can I contribute to other women that need, services to help them? And then the small things, like I said, cozy blanket, whatever. So those would be the things right in before I get out of bed. And then
Right.
once
When
I
you
get out
do
of
the
bed,
Reiki, let me ask you a question. So the Reiki, because I do Reiki too, I have what's called a Soki bed.
uh-huh.
And I go into that for like an hour in the morning, and that's where I do my Reiki. So as I'm doing it, I'm doing Reiki like to help to heal, just to keep my body healthy, like I'll do my thyroid, maybe my pancreas and stuff like that. So is that the way that you're using Reiki, or do you do it more just, with the prayer, or what is your intention that you're
Both,
doing when you're
both.
doing
I,
Reiki?
I do basically it's the Reiki precepts. That's the Reiki prayer that I'm doing. I basically recite those. And then I do it more from an energetic perspective. So I work a lot on the chakras. So I just kind of like scan my chakras and I do a lot. Then I just place my hands over my heart center and just beam whatever energy, and I take in the intention to receive and accept whatever is meant for my greatest and higher good for the day.
So is
So
that when you set your intention? So you're saying that you're kind of balancing your chakras
mhm.
before you even start your day and setting your intention.
Yeah, and I set an
Okay.
intention to just there's a lot that goes into the intention too. It's just
Right.
really like how can I be really present? I try
Right.
to stay present as much present as I possibly can throughout the day. And you know how that is for most of us. It's so easy to be I mean, you get dragged off in many directions. So I set that kind of intention to have a really great day, to be as present as possible. Um, to hold on to gratitude and to not hold on to anger and worry because it's so easy to
Right.
get wrapped up in those two things, right? And so
Oh
really
yeah.
holding that intention that you might get angry, you might worry about something. It's going to happen to all of us, even us that are in the energetic space, but not to hold on to it, right? Then I'm going to release it as quickly as I possibly can.
Yes. Today I went to a woman's like event, and they said, set your intention, know your who, and know your why. So I really love that because, I kind of thought about it in another way, just like if I set my intention for everything before I go in anywhere, before I'm meeting somebody, and then I'm saying who am I here to serve and why? Um, so that's good. I'm glad that you set your intentions every day. And I can't even say that I do that. I know that, like, if I'm selecting an oil or something, I'm just going to set an intention what's going to help me to feel good. But I guess I never really thought of doing intention in that, okay, before I walk into this room, my intention is to smile and make everybody feel loved, or, whatever that intention would be. So you do that kind of every day on a daily basis. I love that. You also said you drink warm water. So my question was, why do you drink warm water?
So this comes back. So again, yoga, right? So again, from the Ayurvedic perspective, one of the ways that you can really calm your internal system is drinking warm water. And so I got into the habit of that. I used to be a big coffee drinker way back when, and I
Uh-huh.
realized that coffee was a way. It was basically an anxiety trigger for me.
Oh.
And so to me, it was like, how can I get out of that? One of
Mhm.
the ways was, shifting then to like tea, and I did that for a while. But it was just the warmth. And then once I got into the yoga and yoga therapy training, it was like, water is really, and we need water anyways all day long. So I drink that all day long, not only to like, again, nourish the body, so to speak, but really nourish my soul.
Interesting. Now, do you add lemon? Because I do fresh lemon. Like I've always been told, do like a half a lemon in warm water. I do my lemon. I mean, I just do lemon every morning. So have you ever tried putting lemon in your water?
I do that. There are some mornings where I do that. There's a lot of mornings where I'll do an apple cider vinegar, splashes of that in there. Again, just because the fermented, against anything fermented helps in terms of gut health. So
Nice.
I'll do that. A lot of times I have actually, you can buy ginger juice now. So I'll do like ginger and lemon. But I'll do that kind of like first thing in the morning, and then I just kind of like switch to warm water. And I literally, as you can see, this is my cup full of warm water right now. I really drink it throughout the day, even in the summertime. I will just continually drink warm
See, I
water.
like cold water, but I have to tell you a funny story because when I was in college, okay, mind you, I didn't have essential oils back then, right? So I was a single mom going to UC Berkeley, getting my degree, and I would get sick all the time. So the way I didn't get sick was I would drink apple cider, just I'd take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and to this day, because I had done it so much, I'm like, oh, it just gives me goosebumps. I can't. I don't know if I can ever do it again.
There's a big block there, you
There's
know?
a big block there, but I love it on my salad. I mean, I'm a vinegar. I love vinegar. I have apple cider vinegar in my
Yeah.
refrigerator.
I think it's different if you're doing it straight versus again diluting it. Maybe you need to dilute
Okay,
it a little bit, but yeah, I get that.
I must have lost that part.
It's all good.
I love also that you say that you eat well, and then at the end of the day, and I mean, eating well, I think is so important for us to a really definite step to feel good daily, right? Um, because we can't. It's like that's the foundation. If we don't eat healthy, then we're never. You can use. I've always said you can use all the oils in the world to help you get well. You can take all the medication in the world to make you feel maybe better, but you're never going to be well, and you're never truly going to feel good every day unless you eat healthy. So, what is it that you? I mean, is it like you eat mostly fruits and vegetables, or do you have a specific diet that you eat, or?
That's a really good question. It's a balance. I still eat meat.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I don't eat a lot of red meat,
Right.
but occasionally I crave it. So I do not deny the craving. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I typically eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And if I do eat meat, it's lean meat. I do like a lot of fish. I'll do some
Right.
chicken and red meat occasionally, but it's mostly fruits and vegetables.
Mhm.
I limit dairy as much as possible too. I don't eat a lot of dairy, so I don't drink milk. If I have like say oatmeal with berries or something like that, it'll be with like an almond milk or a coconut milk. So I
Mhm.
really do just try to eat as healthy as possible. Because it's interesting, as you say, you can do so many different things, but to me, it all starts right there. I mean, there's been so much. I'm reading all the time, right? There's so much in terms of like the gut biome that's out there, food as medicine. And I truly do believe that it is. So I think that if you're really paying attention to like what you're putting into your body makes such a big difference.
Yes, it does. Which I want to move on to our next thing. So the tip is following morning and evening routine vital to keeping your stress levels low and increasing your overall health, happiness, and well-being.
Yes.
So I really like that. So can you explain like a little bit more about that? You're on your stress. Well, actually, what I was going to say was that even a baby, right? Even a baby does better on a schedule. But I want to know, like, on an adult perspective, why having that schedule helps you with your overall well being.
Well, again, I think that it's all, as you just said, with babies being on a schedule. If we go back to that, I mean, you perfectly said it. Having that schedule really helps you set, the clock for everything else that's going on inside of your system. So, when I say the morning and evening routine, again, getting up in the morning and not the rushing out, right? Having a routine that really puts you in a place of feeling less stressed right off the get go. The same thing at night, setting like I'm going to go to bed every single night at the same time.
What time
Um,
do you go to bed? I ask people this question because I feel like I used to be in bed by like 9 or 10 o'clock at night because I had to get up at 5 in the morning, when I was taking care of my child. But now I'm an adult and I don't want to go to sleep sometimes. And then I regret it. So what time do you go to bed?
Again, it really depends. It depends. For me, I usually go to bed around 11,
Okay.
right? And I get up at 7. So I'm still getting like 8 hours of sleep. But, that's kind of like my clock. Everybody's clock is going to be different. So I get into the routine that I think that really works best for you. That's what seems to work best for me, where I feel the best. That's when I'm really ready to go to sleep and like not have to worry about getting up, tossing or turning. I get to bed and I'm like, I'm done. The other thing that I do though is I tend to like take a little soaker every single night. So, my routine is, I like to go up. I've got a little jacuzzi tub that I go up in Epsom salts and I literally soak. That's like my time to decharge from the day, whatever stress is still there that I need to let go of. And so I'll have like some music going, soft music going. I might have a candle lit, but it's just my time for me, soaking, and that feels really good, right? It's just a way to kind of like warm the body again in a little different way, and then just relax. I get out, draw off, I'll spend some time with my husband. And then, when 11 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And I'm done. And I go up.
I
And
think
when
what
I
happens
don't
to
do
me is I
that,
sit there, I'm like, I am ready, I'm feeling tired, and yet I'm like, I gotta just do something, or I gotta.
that's so now this is a big thing that you just brought up. One of the things that, and I just tell my clients this all the time, is like, we're so hooked into technology, right? It's an addiction, let's face it. Our
Yeah.
phones are like an appendage, right? And so one of the things that I've gotten away from is that once, dinner time comes, the phone is set aside. Literally, it is set aside because it is so addictive. And what that does is that it just amps us back up, and the energy keeps going and the mind keeps going. And so for me, it was like, nope, all the technology goes to the wayside so that you can literally calm this down. Because otherwise, in yoga, they call it the chitta chitta or monkey brain, right? The wheels can just keep going and keep going. And so for me, I want to be able to get to sleep right away and not have all the wheels keep turning and turning. So something to consider. That's part of my routine too, is like at least an hour before, get rid of that technology, girl.
I know. Well, here's my excuse, because they have these ones that you're supposed to go really fast, and I figure that I'm speeding my brain, like matching things, and you have to do it and you have a time limit, and if you don't make it, then you are pushed out and you have to start over doing it again. So you have to go faster, and I'm like, this is really stressing me out, but I want to exercise my.
No. That's the whole thing, right? Part of everything that I do is all about the stress response. I mean, all of the tools that I have when I work with women are all about the stress response and how and fight or flight. Basically, it's called fight or flight. And our nervous system is a real good gauge, just in terms of everything. Really, we can really tell everything from our nervous system. Seriously, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever's going on in your nervous system is really going to dictate what's happening around you. And so, the more we're in this, right, what are we doing? We're amping up. We're really amping ourselves up. And to get sciencey here, we shift ourselves into the sympathetic nervous system then, which is all about fight or flight. So we are in an anxiety type of state of frame of mind. And
Right.
so what can we do to shift ourselves back into parasympathetic nervous system so we can actually down regulate what's happening? And so there's tools, right? I mean, there's tons of things. Breathing, you can get into like yogic breathing to
Right.
calm that down. There's a lot of different tools. You can do tapping. Tapping is another really great way to actually move through into a more calm and centered place. But breathing is probably the simplest thing that you can do to shift right away. So if you're
Yes.
going like this, set it to the side
And
then and
start tapping.
start tapping, or just start breathing. Start to do some breathing to ground yourself back down. Yeah, here I am. I'm stressed out right now. I didn't get it done in that 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, right?
Yes. Well, I don't even know if it's stress as it is something that it's like kind of fun to do. But I was going to give this tip, and then I'll just have you tell us just a little bit, because we're just about out of time here,
Okay.
about, what it is that you do to help people. But the tip that I had was to have a tranquil heart daily. We must acknowledge what we feel, work through it, and stay in the feelings of gratitude. And I know in my 30s, that was how I survived, because I don't know about you, but 30s was a really tough time for me in my life. And um it was Oprah that said it. She said, keep that gratitude journal. So I would write 10 things that I was grateful for. And I mean, it was like a toilet. I'm so thankful for my toilet, or water that runs, or a roof over my head. And I mean, even going down to those basic miracles, I wasn't even thinking about the miracle of I had a hand or an eye, or, all of these great things. So we have so much to be grateful for. And sometimes we just get so wrapped up in the crazy of life that we're not even realizing those simple great blessings that we have. So that was my tip. And if you can tell us, like, what it is that you do exactly, I know you do tapping, I know you do yoga, but is it like, who's the perfect person that would be great to reach out to you? and then how can we get in touch with you?
Okay, great. Yeah, no, my ideal clients are usually women that are between, I'd say, 40 to 60, 65,
Uh-huh.
that have had, again, some kind of event happen to them. It can be a little younger, it can be a little older, but typically it's in that age range, only because I can really resonate. I've had a lot of different challenges, different types of events that have, I've learned from lots of them, again, being a single parent for a good many years, going through a heartbreaking divorce, working in corporate, experiencing burnout. There's so many different things that I've been through that, and coming through to the other side, that I just feel that I can connect with women who are really just looking to find their voice, um, really get themselves to a place where they feel more empowered. Because I know for me, it was like, how do I build my confidence back up? I mean, when you go through a heartbreaking divorce or a heart shattering type of thing, it can really bring your confidence level down and your self-esteem down.
Amen.
Like, what's wrong with me? Like, wasn't I good enough, right? In some aspect. And so if women are struggling with that, confidence can show up, as imposter syndrome. These are the kinds of things, perfectionism, right? It was like, oh my God, maybe I got to be perfect to be loved. There's so many different permeations of it. Mostly it comes down to, I just don't feel maybe that I'm good enough and deserving. And so I like to work with women that want to break through that. And so I've got this bevy of tools that I can use to literally help you get to the other side. That's what I do in terms of coaching, is finding out what's going on for you. Where are you resisting? What's the big block? What don't you feel good about? And then how can we get you to the other side?
I love that. I love that because I mean, the more people that I meet in my life, I know my story, and it was a rough one, single parent, and so I know that I'm not the only one out there, and all the people that I continually meet, the struggle's real, and I really appreciate what you do to help women. Where it seems like there's this whole thing that's happening about love. We're learning to love each other better. We're not competing. You have your gift, I have my gift, and we can work together and share those gifts to uplift each other. And that's really the beauty of it, isn't it?
Right? Finally.
Finally.
You and I have been around a while. I mean, I think that's the big thing too, is that I think we've been around a while. And so we can carry a little bit of wisdom maybe that we can bestow upon other women that
Yeah.
haven't been through some of the other things that we've been through. I mean, we go back. I mean, I go back. Oh, so many things there's
Yes.
so many negative messages that were given and handed down and force fed to women for so many years. And I think you're right that we're finally breaking out of some of those paradigms,
Yeah.
um, and hopefully shifting into, again, more empowered states. The more that we can shift into that empowered state, I think, and this is where it comes back to the tranquil heart message, the more tranquil we can be inside of ourselves. And to me, it starts with loving ourselves first. If we don't truly love ourselves, it's really hard to truly, fully love others, right? I mean, we
Oh,
got to start judging ourselves, and
right.
it starts here.
If you're a critical person, then you know that it's like you don't want to be with a self-critical person, because that self-critical person is going to be critical on you. And it's taken so many years, because I know I was my own worst critic, and
Oh, preach.
yeah, and I'm comparing myself and everything else, and I can only say that this has been like the biggest, like, lifting of weights from my body, from my life, and saying that I don't have to be as beautiful as you. I don't have to be this. All I have to do is to be me, and to be able to stand in my spotlight and share my message. And the person that needs what they need from me, they're going to come to me, as the same with you or anybody else. So I really, really, really
Yeah.
appreciate your tranquil heart, because I know my heart is a lot more tranquil. And meeting you brought more tranquility into my heart. So, how can people reach you? I know that you can find me, and I can always connect you. But how can people reach you?
Thank you for that. Yes, and my heart to you. Big love here today, Lana.
Yeah.
So people can reach me. So I have a website. It is tranquilheartwellness.com, all one word.com. So you can find me there. You can also reach me on email. It's Cindy at Tranquil Heart Wellness, again, all one word.com. You can call me. I'm 585-703-9244. Or you can even text me and just reach out. I mean, I give freebies to everybody all the time. I've got some free things that I can give out to folks if they want them. I
That's
give a free consultation call just to get to know. Let's just get to know each other.
yeah.
Even if somebody decided not to work with me, that's okay. If I can send them in the right direction, maybe there's somebody else I can refer them to, or just even give them a couple of tips to make them feel good in that moment. I'm all about that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I know that the more it's like we think of giving, like you're taking from yourself. No, when you're giving, you're receiving, be it your time or whatever gifts you can share with others. I think that's beautiful. So I'm going to drop you into the green room. And if you hang out there and have a mocktail, I'll be right with you. Okay.
Thanks so much, Lana. See you.
You're welcome. Thank you. That was wonderful. And I really hope that from this message that you guys shine in your light and reach out to others and see the beauty in every person that you come into contact with. And again, you can reach me at happyhealing.me. Stay tuned for another episode next week. Uh-oh. I messed up. Just a minute.